नमस्कार। आज today we it is a pleasure to be on the fertile plains today, and I would like to pay my gratitude to Prasanna Kumar for giving me this opportunity to recite my poetry on this prestigious platform, the Fertile Brains. So I would like to give a brief introduction of myself. I'm Squadron Leader Dr. Toolika Rani. I have served in Indian Air Force for 10 years, from 2005 to 15, and I'm a mountaineer also, have climbed 25 mountains, done 25 mountaineering and trekking expeditions in various countries, including Mount Everest and Asia's highest volcano, Mount Damavan in Iran. I have the pleasure to be the first Indian woman to climb it. And poetry it has been my passion since childhood. Though when I was in the Indian Air Force, I couldn't publish my poems, but I have kept writing since childhood. I'm a bilingual poet. I write in Hindi and English both. So today I would be reciting my poems from my three published poetry books. One is The Song of the Sky, and another one is Dairon Ke Bahar, which is in Hindi, and this one, the latest one, Hasratein. So the themes that I write on, as we would see in the progression of this program, it is motivational. Sometimes it's the motivational poetry. Sometimes it is the emotions that all of us as human beings feel: love, concern, anxiety, dejection, disapproval, and thereafter rising again. Because that's what human life is all about: falling and rising. We are like waves. We are like wind. We are never defeated in the spirit. So my poetry is all about that spirit of fighting back and rising again. So here I would like to present a poem called Fire. People who feel are very intense, and that's how I also believe myself to be. But sometimes uh, when we live in the normal, ordinary society, uh, we become kind of an enigma for other people. तो उन्हें हम अजीब अजीब जैसे लगते हैं. तो उसी के ऊपर एक पोएट्री मैंने लिखी थी, पोएम लिखी थी, फायर. आई व्हील माई आईज फॉर दे स्पीक टू मच. आई व्हील माई आईज फॉर दे स्पीक too much to disclose to the stone cold world. Oh, you will be killed, or at least resented for being self-willed. Oh, you will be killed, or at least resented for being self-willed. What is it that shines in those dark, deep pores? Haven't you shame or a hint of fear? At least pretend to be less fierce. Cast I would my eyes away. Cast I would my eyes away. You, the world, can have your way. For the fire burns in the deep crevasse with nothing to hold and nothing to be lost. Too strong to bear, is it, my gaze? Too strong to bear, is it, my gaze? Apparition light does look my face. Oh, away then I shall go, where reaches none in the faintest glow, the glow wherever, the glow, however, is there to stay, hidden from those who care to say neither a word nor a tearful hey. The heart that burns in a deep desire for life to blossom in the flames of fire, what use it has of steady spire, stick it does like muddy quagmire. For me, the burning stake of the fire. For me, the burning stake of the fire. So it is an answer to those who say that you should live a life restricted to the societal norms. Well, I believe that till the time we're not doing anything wrong to anybody, it is right for human beings. Rather, it is expected of human beings to stretch their boundaries, to stretch their limits, and set new parameters of human existence on this earth. With this, I would like to recite my second poem that's called Dreams. Oh, retrieve my fallen self. Sometimes we all fall in our own eyes, perhaps for not achieving a particular goal, or perhaps for letting somebody down who had faith in us. So there are moments when we feel that we have let down ourselves or others. In those times, It is to remind oneself, oh, retrieve my fallen self. Dreams anew await you. Faraway corners beckon you. Ahead lies a road untraveled, studded with charms, surprises, and marvels. Raise the flagging spirits, my heart. Raise the flagging spirits, my heart. Lots of summits are still untouched. So we must go for the summits that are still untouched. Then there are moments in life when we are in a dilemma as to what to do and what not to do. There are ethics, there are morals, and one is baffled between the choices, what to do. So in those circumstances, I had written a poem called Pure. To hold or let go, to resist or just flow, to act or give in, to stand or just bow. Are there any rules one could always follow? When the heart oscillates and the mind doesn't know, in the moments of doubts, fear, and sorrow, one holds the lights up or just sinks below. Barter your steam for nothing in this world. Barter your steam for nothing in this world. Straighten you can't if once it is curled. Temptations galore lie here to lure. Temptations galore lie here to lure. Easy not a task to stay here pure. But risk you not to suppress the soul. But risk you not to suppress the soul. It makes you a king or destroys you whole. The steeper path, the challenging road, may cause your body and ego to erode, but light within will shine on the way. You would rest assured that you didn't sway in times of weakness, in days that were gray. Conceal from the world you might your sins. Conceal from the world you might your sins at the end of the day, but the conscience wins. When you peep inside, if you see a smile, it's then you realize it's been worth a while. It's then you realize it's been worth a while. So it's up to us as to uh, which path do we choose, whether it is the easy path or it is the difficult path, the right path. And this again, it is a poem which I wrote, Connection. It is the title is Connection. There are times when we look around and we find that we are not the only one who have been suffering. And there is suffering in this world, but we can do something to alleviate the pain of others too. And in the process, we come out from our mirages also. So the poem is titled Connection, and it goes like this. It wasn't until the ray arrived, it wasn't until the day arrived, that I saw the life in a different light. The fulcrum upon which I hung rotated around my own axis. Even the slightest crack hurt. Hostage of my own spin, my worldview converged to a centripetal point, to a point of no return, where things couldn't be worse. Startled, I awoke. Startled, I awoke at the dread it evoked, at the fall it enlisted, at the myth it had busted. In the hell of dejection roamed so many of them. Suddenly I realized I wasn't so alone. I wasn't so alone in the quagmire of pain. I wasn't so alone, clasped to my chain. That collective gloom became my strength. I wasn't to die. I was to wrench the wretched from the pain. It swirled and swirled ferociously in my brain. The radiance it burst. I found my weapon. I caught the train. I found my weapon. I caught the train of thoughts, hopes, linked with the grain of human connection and deep passion emerging from me to the millions of those whom, above myself, I finally chose. One of the poems that I wrote, the title is Theatrics of Life, and it is about those moments when, again, we wonder what would happen in the end, but there is no way to find it out. So all that we can do is to do our part and go from this world. It is a canvas upon which we are all painting our own stories, our little bits that we can do in this world. So it is about that theatrics of life. Theatrics of life, how should one survive? The drama and suspense which no one understands when you start to think that you won't even blink an eyelid on the scene, there is nothing more obscene than life to turn you pink, and there then you sink in an ocean full of tides, and nothing could surprise the strength and will you had to keep yourself in check. A funny thing this heart, which never does discard the right to entangle the wise and the stranger in silly little notions of care and emotions. Or how does then one act, vulnerable and bereft of all the defenses which might make differences in the queer little plans of life at a glance? Hard though it comes, hard though it comes, one has to come to terms with the frozen cold truth that nothing could stay, that no one could delay what Providence had thought it would finally be brought on the stage of life, where all you do is to strive to be as good as you can, to play your part and leave, and never could conceive the end of the story, to whom be the glory. Is ever there an end? Could no one understand? Is ever there an end? Could no one understand? Because I have been a mountaineer also, so I have written a lot of poems on my longing for mountains. It is not possible for me to always live in the mountains because to earn one's livelihood, one has to live in the cities also. But it is said that once you have seen the heaven, once you have tasted the tastiest wine, you can never forget. And you would always long to have its taste again. So is it with me also. Wherever I am, I always long for those scenes of the mountains, for those scents of the mountain. And the next poem, titled Longing, is all about that. The everyday trudge, the swarming of crowds, the familiar faces, the usual grouse, beautiful mornings, a lousy drowse, passing of the day, what a superficial browse. Longs my heart for the endless clouds, grassy meadows and the snowful snouts, gurgling streams and the flattering falls, soothing, serene, and the peaceful sprawls beneath the sky full of twinkling stars. And for people who roam around the world, sometimes it is difficult to pinpoint one single identity. People who can feel intensely the various elements of nature, the various emotions that human beings have, people who can feel a deep connection with everyone around, irrespective of their background. Rather, it intrigues them, rather, it fascinates them. So, I have faced this question many a times when people ask me, where are you from? And where do you belong? I go blank at times because it is not the place that you belong to. It is the feelings sometimes that you belong to. It is also the people that one belongs to. So the emotion that is generated in me whenever I'm asked this question has been written in this poem, Where I Belong. The sweet bitterness of loneliness. The sweet bitterness of loneliness in the world full of belongings are mine the earth and the stars, but nothing in between. Descending on the tops of the hills, the mist of the night, asking for my whereabouts. Oh, where I belong? Now, this is the question that I also ask myself. Everyone is born at some place, but where do you really belong? So that's the question of where I belong. And the answer is to the wind and the endless span of the sky, to the wind and the endless span of the sky, to the drifting smell of the jasmine flower, to the bees who store the nectar of others, the voice within which is seen by none. So fragile are the shells, they break with time. So fragile are the shells, they break with time, the shells of shapes, boundaries, and homes. As human beings, we keep moving from one place to another. So it is, to me at least, it seems quite a foolish question to ask, where does one belong permanently? And then there are times when one prays to the Almighty, because sometimes when you are entangled within the human emotions and relationships with people on this earth, and when you experience pain, then the one you turn to is the Lord, is the God. And then you find your place into the light. And that is the title of my next poem, Into the Light. Upon the shattered pieces of my heart, I mourn the human nature, seeking validation and belongingness, longing to be a part of somebody, something. To cling to that, what is supposedly ours, to draw sustenance from the fragile flowers. Fragile as they are, all bonds we form, written like dew, now there, now gone. Oh, the captive of self-bondage, bringing upon thee this misery and ache, the net I have woven around myself, so painful to cut it thread by thread. And yet, this is what I shall strive to do, to free my soul from the worldly glue, renouncing the garb and retaining the core, renouncing the garb and retaining the core, to bathe in the light divine and pure, a light emanating from my deepest folds to see beyond the shore. A journey to thee, the Master, O Lord, without any pain, without discord. From you I was born, in you I dissolve, with all good and bad I was showered upon. Shine through me as you shine through all. Shine through me as you shine through all. Upon your child let peace befall. Upon your child let peace befall. The next poem that I'm going to recite is titled The Rising Sun. And it is again dedicated to all those who have struggled in life and who have not given up despite adversities, have risen with only one thing, and that is the indefatigable spirit of the human beings. Rising Sun. This poem is, it was written when I was one day walking on my terrace in the morning and looking at the rising sun. So this is what I told myself. I see you on the horizon, you are a rising sun. I see you on the horizon, you are a rising sun, a red, round, striking ball. Forgotten I haven't, you too had a fall. Into the deep, dark, invisible pit of misery, dejection, and desolation that yearns long night and night after night, no light emanated from you. You just showed up, tired, masked, habituated to rising. You just showed up, tired, masked, habituated to rise, but not anymore. Subdued you are my orb. Subdued you are my orb, but bigger you grow with each of my strokes. Now fear you not. I have planted fire in the center of your heart. Now fear you not. I have planted fire in the center of your heart. In misery or mirth, kindled, he would say. Realize my intent when I painted you crimson. I have seen you on the horizon. You are the rising sun. I have seen you on the horizon. You are the rising sun. One more ode to the God Almighty who has created us all. And the title is I Trust You. So in the end, when we question our existence, when we question the happenings in our lives, what I have come to the conclusion is that we have to trust the plans that God has made for all of us. Yes, we have to do our bidding also, and continue doing our actions as Gita has told us. But again, when there are things that are beyond our understanding and our comprehension, we have to have that faith in God's plans. So the title is I Trust You. I see you in the breeze, in the glistening leaves, in the shining beams. I see you in the breeze, in the glistening leaves, in the shining beams, wrapping me in an embrace so pure, your pulse vibrating in my palms, my eyes heavy with your fragrance. No, not the last days, not the embers of a dying lamp. It is the passing out to a world unknown, hazy, heady, but full of bliss, a world beyond the visible, beyond the now, where I trust you. So this was from my English poetry book, The Song of the Sky, which was published in 2023 by Authors Press, New Delhi. And now I would like to recite some couplets, some poems from my Hindi poetry book, Dairon Ke Bahar. The title, Dairon Ke Bahar, has a symbolic meaning. And जैसे कि हर व्यक्ति का एक दायरा होता है, चाहे वो समाज का बनाया हुआ हो, चाहे वो उसका अपना अपने मस्तिष्क में बनाई गई उसकी सीमाएं हो. So this title, दायरों के बाहर, signifies going beyond all those restrictions and limitations. इसमें बिल्कुल अंतिम लाइनें हैं इस किताब की जिससे मैं शुरुआत करूंगी. और उसका जैसे हम जिंदगी के बारे में कहना चाहेंगे कि जब तक आप जिंदगी को जीते नहीं है उसके हर दिन को, तब तक आप ये नहीं जान सकते कि कौन से पन्ने पर क्या लिखा है. और बहुत आश्चर्यचकित करने वाली चीजें भी आपको किसी पन्ने पर मिल सकती हैं जिंदगी में. सो विदाउट लूजिंग होप, विदाउट लूजिंग फेथ, वी मस्ट वेक अप एवरी डे एंड टेक इट एज अ ब्लेसिंग एंड लिव इट फुली. तो इसका टाइटल है खोल कर पढ़िए, कौन से पन्ने पे जाने कौन सा एक हर्फ हो, कौन से पन्ने पे जाने कौन सा एक हर्फ हो, रुख कहानी का बदल दे जो कहीं पूरी तरह, बंद कर देखोगे तो क्या मायने समझाएगी, बंद कर देखोगे तो क्या मायने समझाएगी, खोल कर पढ़िए तो जाने जिंदगी की दास्तां, खोल कर पढ़िए तो जाने जिंदगी की दास्तां. ये मेरी एक और पुस्तक है, हसरतें, हिंदी पोइट्री की, जो कि इसी साल पब्लिश हुई है. सेबर एंड क्विल पब्लिशिंग एजेंसी न्यू दिल्ली ने पब्लिश की है. तो इससे भी हम कुछ आपको पोएम सुनाना चाहेंगे. ये दो लाइनें हैं इस किताब में. हसरतें में तरह तरह के अलग अलग फॉर्म्स में लिखी गई कविताएं हैं. कुछ लंबी हैं, कुछ बहुत छोटी है, कुछ सिर्फ दो लाइनों की हैं, पर उनका मीनिंग पूरा पूरा बैठता है. तो दो लाइनें मैं सुनाना चाहूंगी. मुस्कुराना. दुनिया तेरे तमाशे हंसकर ही माफ कर दूं, दुनिया तेरे तमाशे हंसकर ही माफ कर दूं, अच्छा है मुस्कुराना बेजार हो जाने से. So it is much better to be smiling at this world's follies rather than being desolate, rather than being feeling dejected. दुनिया तेरे तमाशे हंसकर ही माफ कर दूं, अच्छा है मुस्कुराना बेजार हो जाने से. और ये दो लाइनें कपलेट्स हैं फिर से. ये उस बात को दर्शाती हैं कि जैसा हमारे खुद के भीतर होता है, या जिस भी इंसान के भीतर जो सब्सटेंस होता है, उसको बाकी चीजें वैसे ही लगती हैं, और उसकी संगति आसपास के वातावरण को भी वैसा ही बना देती है. जिसके भीतर जो बसा सब जग वैसा लागे, जिसके भीतर जो बसा, सब जग वैसा लागे। कूड़े संग दुर्गंध, फूल संग पवन महकने लागे। कूड़े संग दुर्गंध, फूल संग पवन महकने लागे। अग्नि, इसे मैं उन सभी को समर्पित करना चाहूंगी जो कि ख्वाब देखते हैं और जिनके बस में नहीं है कि वो एक साधारण सी जिंदगी जी सकें, चाहे उस अलग सी जिंदगी का कोई भी प्राइस हो। Because there are some people who are made in a certain way. They are born with particular talents, they are born with a particular zeal for life, and they cannot live without fulfilling that purpose of their life. अग्नि इसका टाइटल है। तेरे भीतर जो जलती है वो अग्नि ही तेरी अपनी। तेरे भीतर जो जलती है वो अग्नि ही तेरी अपनी। नहीं तो श्वास भी संग आदमी का छोड़ देती। ललक है जब तलक तुझ में फलक तक दौड़ जाने की। ललक है जब तलक तुझ में फलक तक दौड़ जाने की। कभी तक राह हासिल है नहीं रुख मोड़ देती है। तू अपने कारवां में चल अकेला, ये ही नियति। तू अपने कारवां में चल अकेला, ये ही नियति है। तेरी उड़ने की जिद रिश्ते हमेशा तोड़ देती है डर तुझको गिरेगा एक दिन तारे सा टूट कर। है डर तुझको गिरेगा एक दिन तारे सा टूट कर। मगर ऊष्मा हृदय की आसमां में झोंक देती है। मगर ऊष्मा हृदय की आसमां में झोंक देती है। एक और कविता है जिसका नाम है निशा। 4 लाइनों की है ये, और ये उसके ऊपर है कि हम इस जिंदगी में क्या छोड़ के जाना चाहते हैं। यहाँ कुछ भी तो बचता नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी इंसान कोशिश करता है कि अपने पीछे एक विरासत, चाहे वो सांस्कृतिक विरासत हो, चाहे विचारों की विरासत हो, छोड़ कर जाए। तो शीर्षक है निशा। धुआं बनूं या चिंगारी, या मिट्टी में मिल जाऊं मैं। धुआं बनूं या चिंगारी, या मिट्टी में मिल जाऊं मैं। बात तो इतनी सी है कि क्या निशान छोड़ कर जाऊं मैं। छोड़ूं भी क्या, चिर तो नहीं है कोई भी कण सृष्टि का। अब अपने आप से ही प्रश्न है कि छोड़ें भी क्या। छोड़ूं भी क्या, चिर तो नहीं है कोई भी कण सृष्टि का। बचे नहीं विकृत होने से रूप तिलक स्मृति का। स्मृति, याद तक तो यहाँ धुंधली हो जाती है हमारे अपने लोगों की समय के साथ। तो फिर इस दुनिया में क्या और छोड़ के जाएं। छोड़ूं भी क्या, चिर तो नहीं है कोई भी कण सृष्टि का। बचे नहीं विकृत होने से रूप तिलक स्मृति का। ये वट वृक्ष नाम की एक कविता है जिसमें कि वो भाव उकेरे गए हैं कि हम सब एक इंसान होने के नाते ये चाहते हैं कि हमें प्रेम मिले, स्नेह मिले, अपनापन मिले इस दुनिया से, अपने रिश्तों में भी। लेकिन जो एक डेप्थ होनी चाहिए, जो कि एक समर्पण होना चाहिए, आ, वो कोई देना नहीं चाहता किसी को भी। तो उसकी कमी है। हम सब सोचते हैं कि हमें वो सब चीजें मिलें, पर हम वो सब प्रोवाइड कब करेंगे किसी को भी। थके तो पंथी सोचे बैठूं छांव तले। थके तो पंथी सोचे बैठूं छांव तले। पर विडंबना कौन यहाँ वट वृक्ष बने। बादल से उड़ते फिरते हैं झोंकों में। बादल से उड़ते फिरते हैं झोंकों में। कौन बरस दस बरस धरा को वक्ष धरे। कौन बरस दर बरस धरा को वक्ष धरे। है वितान भंगुर क्षण भर में चटक पड़े। कौन जड़ों की भांति लगे माटी से गले। जड़ों की भांति जैसे कि मिट्टी से गले लगना, कि हमेशा उसके साथ रहना। थके तो पंथी सोचे बैठूं छांव तले। पर विडंबना कौन यहाँ वट वृक्ष बने। एक ये पोएम है जिसका टाइटल है आवारा। और ये उन सब लोगों के लिए है जो दुनिया को अजीब लगते हैं और पर्पसलेस लगते हैं। तो ये उनके मन की बात है। ये दुनिया समझ में जो आ जाती हमको, तो होते न थोड़े से आवारा हम यूं। ये दुनिया समझ में जो आ जाती हमको, तो होते न थोड़े से आवारा हम यूं। जो झूठे रंगों का चढ़ा लेते पानी, तो बन कर के कुंदन निखरते ना हम यूं। जो झूठे रंगों का चढ़ा लेते पानी, तो बन कर के कुंदन निखरते ना हम यूं। हवा की तरह उड़ती तस्वीर हूं मैं, हवा की तरह उड़ती तस्वीर हूं मैं, नजर किए हूं आगे बहुत दूर हूं मैं कागज के पन्ने पे लिखा हरफ हूँ, मशालें जलाने को मशहूर हूँ मैं। कोई बात लिपटी किसी पैरहन में, कोई घात छिपती किसी आवाहन में। कोई बात लिपटी किसी पैरहन में, कोई घात छिपती किसी आवाहन में। वो आते हैं मिलने सजे आवरण में, और पर्दे उठाने को मजबूर हूँ मैं। अगर सच यहाँ झूठ की तलहटी है, अगर सच यहाँ झूठ की तलहटी है, आडंबर पे सारी ये दुनिया टिकी है, तो जाओ जो खेले सतह पर वो ढूंढो, तो जाओ जो खेले सतह पर वो ढूंढो, कि गोते लगाने में मशरूफ हूं मैं। वो कहते हैं हमको जो बागी तो कह लें, वो कहते हैं हमको जो बागी तो कह लें, नहीं हम जो दुनिया का हर स्वार्थ सह लें। रखो अपने पाखंडी तौरो तरीके, कि ढंगे वफा पे ही मगरूर हूं मैं। ये लम्हों की दौलत न होती हमारी, ये लम्हों की दौलत न होती हमारी, जो होते न थोड़े से आवारा हम यूं। ये मोती जो सागर से ढूंढे हैं हमने, ना पाते अगर होते नाकारा हम यूं। ये मोती जो सागर से ढूंढे हैं हमने, ना पाते अगर होते नाकारा हम यूं। और ये जो अगली कविता मैं सुनाने जा रही हूँ, पूरा चांद, उसका कुछ मर्म इस तरह है कि जब हम दुनिया में चीजों को देखते हैं, लोगों को देखते हैं, तो कुछ हाफ हार्टेड एफर्ट्स हमें मिलते हैं, हाफ हार्टेड कनेक्शंस हमें मिलते हैं, जबकि इंसान हमेशा ये चाहता है कि उसे 100% कनेक्शन एक मिले कहीं। तो ये उसके ही ऊपर है। हर एक मंजर पे मिलते लोग कुछ आधे अधूरे से, हर एक मंजर पे मिलते लोग कुछ आधे अधूरे से। कहाँ ले जाऊं इस दिल को जो पूरा चांद मांगे है, कहाँ ले जाऊं इस दिल को जो पूरा चांद मांगे है। उमड़ते इन ख्यालों का न आदि अंत मिलता है, उमड़ते इन ख्यालों का न आदि अंत मिलता है। बहुत तूफान उठे पीछे, न जाने कितने आगे हैं। जमाने के शिकंजों से बचे रहने की कोशिशें, जमाने के शिकंजों से बचे रहने की कोशिशें, मगर उलझा हूं मैं जिनमें वो मेरे अपने धागे हैं। हर एक मंजर पे मिलते लोग कुछ आधे अधूरे से। कहाँ ले जाऊं इस दिल को जो पूरा चांद मांगे, कहाँ ले जाऊं इस दिल को जो पूरा चांद मांगे। Prasanna, if you are still present, I would like you to please tell me when the time is up. इसमें कुछ कविताएं जो हैं, वो श्रृंगार रस की भी हैं। तो उसमें से भी एक दो कविताएं आपके साथ हम यहाँ साझा करना चाहेंगे। शीर्षक है मनमोहक छवि। तपती धरती पर बादल की छाया सी, वह मनमोहक छवि सांवली काया सी। जंगल में फूलों की महकती झाड़ी सी, सूरज की लाली से सजी पहाड़ी सी। उसकी आभा कण कण को प्रज्वलित करे, बहे श्वास निर्बाध वो जब जब हृदय धरे। इसमें सिंबोलिज्म है, इंसान से प्रेम के ऊपर भी ये लागू होती है और ईश्वर से प्रेम पर भी ये लागू होती है। तो इसमें बस एक अपनी आखिरी कविता सुनाने के साथ अब मैं आज का ये कार्यक्रम समाप्त करना चाहूंगी। क्योंकि पुस्तक का शीर्षक है हसरतें, तो इसकी एक प्रधान कविता है जो इसकी शीर्षक कविता भी मैं कहूंगी, हसरतें ही नाम है उसका। इंसान जीव अदना सा पर बेहद खुराफाती, इंसान जीव अदना सा पर बेहद खुराफाती, न कदम रुके उसके कभी न दिल दिमाग ही, जितना पाया उससे भी अधिक रही इच्छा, जितना खोजा उससे भी ज्यादा जिज्ञासा। एक बार अगर आभास हुआ इस जीवन की सुंदरता का, तब जितना घूमे धरती को अंतर में आखिर चैन कहाँ। हसरतें असीमित, हसरतें असीमित, बाद एक के बाद उफानों पर आती, जंगल देखूं हिम शिखर चढ़ूं या संध्या ताकूं मरुस्थली, साहित्य विश्व भर का पढ़ लूं या नृत्य विधाओं को सीखूं, हो ज्ञान शस्त्र का भी मुझको गर आन पड़े रण में लड़ लूं। जीवन छोटा धरती विस्तृत, उससे विशाल हसरतें मेरी, जीवन छोटा धरती विस्तृत उससे विशाल हसरतें मेरी, तो आओ बाहें खोल के मैं जो भी क्षण हो उसको जी लूं। हसरतें रहें जब तक आंखों में तब तक मानव जिंदा है, हसरतें रहें जब तक आंखों में तब तक मानव जिंदा है, वरना उड़ ही जाना है एक दिन सांसें एक परिंदा है, वरना उड़ ही जाना है एक दिन सांसें एक परिंदा है। तो इसी के साथ मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगी फिर से द फर्टाइल ब्रेन्स फॉर गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी amidst you all. It's a wonderful platform that is contributing so much to the literature. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on this prestigious platform.